What's up guys? So I did film a vlog in Alton Towers Scarefest, but I wasn't happy with the footage that I recorded on the day, so I thought it'd be better to give you kind of an overall breakdown of our experience at Scarefest. Now I've got to point out, we didn't do Amigos in the Afterlife, which is located at the former Alton Towers dungeon, or we didn't do Trick or Treat Town, which is adjacent to that, because like being 30-odd-year-old adults would be just a bit weird. So yeah, we didn't do them. We did, however, do the other 4 mazes available at Alton Towers, which included the brand new maze for 2024 Compound, Terror of the Towers, the Attic, Villemours Tours, Tiny's Revenge, and Daz Games Panic Reloaded. Now we're going to start off with some positives here at Alton Towers Scarefest. First of all, I want to point out that Tower Street this year looked absolutely incredible. They got a brand new car on the lawn there, looks absolutely brilliant. Of course, the old one had a little bit damaged, so they had to bring in a new car. Now you can see all the characters there in the car. They look absolutely brilliant, really nice, really vibrant, and plenty of fog coming from the hearse. Along with that, we got plenty of pumpkins, and the frogs as well on the fountains looked absolutely fantastic this year. They had kind of a witchy theme going on. They always do a really good job dressing up Tower Street, Alton Towers for Scarefest, so that looked absolutely fantastic. I just wish the theming kind of stretched out to other areas of the park as well. It kind of seems to end right at the end of Tower Street, where kind of Oktoberfest have their kind of food stalls. I really wish they kind of expanded the decor and theming to other areas of the park, which unfortunately they do not do. The ambient lighting as well looked fantastic this year. There were some new areas lit up at the park, and the towers itself looked absolutely incredible this year. They have like a fog, you have kind of a fog tube stretching throughout the front of the towers, and it's all lit up at night with spotlights and different kind of lighting effects. It looks absolutely beautiful at night time. The stage as well, where they do all the entertainment at night, has had some brand new lighting as well. Some of the lights can be a bit bright if you're sitting right in front of the stage, but other than that, the lighting on the stage looks absolutely fantastic when the performers are on there. Plenty of fog, plenty of lasers and different effects. We even had some pyro effects during the later part of the evening when Sin Bin were performing. So let's move on to the actual scare mazes themselves. And we're going to start off with Daz Games Panic Reloaded. I don't even know where to start with this one. It's one of those mazes where you come out and you just kind of haven't got any words for it. It's that bad. But yeah, it was my first time ever doing it this year. Last year they did have an upcharge for Daz Games Panic Reloaded. This year it was included in the kind of combi price, so we didn't have to pay an upcharge, which I was more than happy about, you know, that it was actually included in the combi pass that you paid for all the mazes. When we entered, it was disappointing. I had real high hopes for Daz Games Panic Room. I mean, I've heard different reviews about it online. Some people say it's not so good, and yeah, so I was excited to try it for myself, and I was going in there with anticipation. I really wanted it to work. So yeah, my thoughts first of all on Daz Games Panic Reloaded. First of all, I agree with X on this one. You shouldn't really have a YouTuber kind of plug in a scare maze, especially a YouTuber that sticks to gaming. It doesn't work. It's just not going to work. It just doesn't work. So there's that. So the whole story that I kind of got from Daz Games Panic Reloaded was that Daz kind of tried a new maze last year, which was Daz Games Panic Room, and something went wrong this year. They had some kind of a virus or something, and it was up to us to kind of stop the virus, and it was kind of being taken over by AI technology and the rest of it. That's the kind of story I got from it. At the start you were all cut. So at the start you get given wristbands which you need to scan throughout the maze. You type in your name and then you head into this big shipping container with loads of other people. For me, that part was probably the best part of the maze. You get some really cool effects in there. The lighting goes off. It's a really, really good pre-show with Daz Black actually in the pre-show. Now you get told a little bit about the story, and then you kind of let loose into the maze. The maze itself, I wouldn't call a maze. It's more just like a giant room filled with fog and a few actors in it, and there's shapes on the kind of the walls that you need to scan. I mean, give credit where credit is due. The actors in there are doing a fantastic job. They literally got nothing to work with in that maze, in this giant empty space. They've got nothing to work with, so they're doing the best they can to kind of run up and scare you. But the overall maze is just Alton Towers, just don't do it again, please. Just do not do it again. The whole maze is confusing. It's not a maze. It's basically about 30 people running around trying to scan and find their shapes, their triangles, squares, whatever your shape may be, and then you leave. That is the whole maze. I can't describe it any better than that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to find all my shapes in time, which meant the counter actually ran out while I was in the maze. And I was expecting, when the counter ran out in the maze, I was expecting some kind of special effect to happen, or even all the lights go out in the maze to turn off and shut down, so I would be in complete darkness and having to find my way out. Instead, I was greeted by a member of Alton Towers staff who kindly guided us all towards the exit, and that was the maze. That's it. Alton Towers, please do not bring it back. It doesn't belong in Scarefest. It's not a scare maze. During the year, but not for Scarefest. Please, just don't bring it back, please. Next up, we tried Villemours. Now, since the age of dinosaurs, it's been there for so long now. I think it's about 7 or 8 years it's been there. But yeah, we had Tiny's Revenge, which we had last year. It's kind of putting a twist on the story. Now, Villemours is one of my favourite mazes that Alton Towers have come up with, along with Subspecies. That maze and the Sanctuary, that maze was absolutely incredible. But Villemours, always enjoyed it. Love the fact that you go into a mine. Love the storyline. Love all the theming. Love the smell pods. I love the whole maze. But it's just been here far too long now. It's been here way too long. And it just needs to go. It really needs to go. It really does. So the maze itself, you actually ushered into one of these little shacks with a group of you. You get told the story about the skin snatchers, about how Tiny, one of the skin snatchers, is out to kind of cause revenge and get revenge on everybody who visited the mine before. And then all the lights go out and the lady that was telling us the story happened to be killed. And we were greeted with a giant guy in a gas mask with a baseball bat or an axe. I can't remember what it was. And then you all head into the maze. Some good actors in there, not many actors at all. I think we spotted about 4 actors in there, but not many actors at all. One thing I did notice from the Skin Snatchers Villemours this year was a complete lack of smell pods. Now, Alton Villemours is synonymous for having that damp skin, kind of rotten flesh smell, which personally I love. Call me weird, I don't know, but personally I love that smell. It's kind of got that Scarefest smell about it. That was just completely not present this year in Alton Villemours, which I really miss. But again, it wasn't too bad. It had some decent scares in there, but overall, it needs to go. It's been here far too long. Next up, we paid a visit to Terror of the Towers, the Attic. Now, this maze for me is a bit of a hit and miss maze. I do enjoy it. I do think it's a good kind of idea to bring Terror of the Towers, the Attic back. I do think overall it's a well thought out maze, but again, there was just no actors in there. It was I think we counted about 3 actors and there was just hardly any actors. Again, no smell pods. And I've brought this up on a few vlogs now that we've done at Alton Towers Scarefest. As soon as you get to the first part of the attic, you get told a storyline. Now, the storyline for me has always been confusing. I've never ever been able to hear what the guy says clearly. With all the effects going off, it kind of drowns out what he's trying to tell you in the whole storyline. And the fact that you can see the buttons that he's pushing. If, for example, the windows blow open at one point, the curtains blow, the lights go out, lightning strikes, you can see the gentleman, you can see the actor reaching for the buttons, you can see him physically pressing the buttons for the effects, which completely takes away the element of surprise, if you will. Just completely takes it all away from me. The maze itself, it's just not good anymore, is it? I mean, it used to be so good, the attic. It used to have that damp, dusty, dark smell. dark has got a smell. I don't know. But it used to have that damp, musky smell in the attic that we all loved. And there's a section through that maze where you actually go through a fireplace. And now that fireplace last year and the previous years used to be really warm. When you're going through the fireplace, you had the heat to give you the effect that you were actually walking through a fireplace. That was not present at all this year. It's just tired. It really is tired now, the attic. They need to get everything up and working again, or they really need to rethink the whole layout and the whole idea of the attic. And last but not least, we tried the brand new maze for 2024, which is Compound. Compound's located kind of near where the Curse is and where Forbidden Valley is. I'm pretty sure it used to be toilets there at some point, but they've actually built a dedicated building for this scare maze, which I think is fantastic, that they built a dedicated kind of building for this maze and this maze alone. So the whole storyline I got from Compound were the Phalanx were trying to contain a nemesis creature, or kind of a virus related to the nemesis creature, and you entered a forbidden compound owned by the Phalanx, and therefore they were liable to use your body as a vessel for experimental use. So the maze itself was really hyped up online. From what I've seen, it was a really intense maze. That's what I got from it. So again, I was really excited to check this brand new maze out for 2024. When we got into the maze, you were immediately split up from your group. One of our party was just dragged into the maze itself while we were all waiting outside. I got split from the wife, a few other people got split from a few other groups, and you were put into kind of containment areas, I want to say, or like decontamination areas, like little pods, I want to say, while you watch the pre-show. Pre-show kind of tells you all about the story, and then door behind you opens, and for some strange reason, all the people that you were split up with all meet in that one kind of corridor. So I don't really understand the reason behind splitting you all up if you're going to meet anyway in the corridor. Just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I had some pretty cool interactions in Compound. I mean, there's a few rooms with some really good set pieces. You got Nemesis eggs in there. You got people dressed up in costumes relating to Nemesis. You got a few kind of infected Phalanx guys in there, which were really, really good. I did enjoy that. Full of actors, plenty of actors in there. Some really, really intense areas of Compound. I mean, me and the wife ended up in kind of a small crawl space where we had to crawl down this corridor to get to the next section. There is use of tasers in Compound as well, which really does add to the fright factor, because that's never been used in any scare maze in Alton Towers before. It's always been the usual like chainsaws, things like that. So to see tasers actually flick and everything like that was really, really cool to see. I got my heart racing a few times. While we were halfway through the maze though, we did see light. While we were about a quarter of the way through the maze though, we did see a room with light, and we were thinking, surely not. This can't be the end of it. We've only been in here about a minute or two, if that. But we saw a room with light. I turned the corner. I was pleasantly surprised to see a room with ropes hanging down from the ceiling for some reason. But yeah, that light unfortunately was the exit. It's a very, very, very short maze, extremely short. I don't think we were in there for more than 2 minutes. It was very, very short. And because Alton Towers was very busy on our day of visiting the park, mazes are very busy, so they were trying to rush everybody through as quick as they could so they could bring the next group in, etc, etc. I just can't do it anymore. Scarefest has been the same for so many years now, and unfortunately, like many other people, Alton Towers have just lost the magic. There's just no excitement there anymore. I mean, when we were there, ride availability was absolutely horrendous. I mean, there was no given time throughout the whole day that any roller coasters were operational. I mean, ride availability this season has been the worst ride availability I have ever seen in Alton Towers. I really don't know what's going on. It's heartbreaking to see, because I've been going to Alton Towers Scarefest for, God, about 11 years now. I've never known it to be this bad. The mazes are just stale. They just don't do anything for me anymore. Ride availability, like I said, has been absolutely horrendous. I mean, we were there for 2 days, and there wasn't one point when all the rides were operational at one point. There was always something down. It was down multiple times throughout the 2 days. I just can't see myself supporting something that's just not working, and that's why I'm cancelling my annual passes on the way home from fireworks, which I will be attending. until then, I don't think I'm going to be renewing my passes. I prefer to support other little independent events and parks like Poulton's Park, Drayton Manor, all the little independent Halloween events. I think they just do such a better job. Drayton Manor I absolutely love because of Oliver with his autism. The rap kind of system is just so easy to use for him, and Drayton Manor just do it so much better. Poulton's Park for me is the best family run and family themed UK theme park that you can get. It is so clean, it's so on point. The operations are always on point. It's just a fantastic family park. So yeah, that is why the title of this video is I just can't do it anymore. I just can't support Merlin anymore. I've had enough with it. I really have. It's hard supporting something that you just don't love anymore. And it's sad, it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking, like I said, because I supported Towers for so many years now, but I just can't do it anymore. But that is this vlog finished for this little video finished for Scarefest 2024. Did you agree with me about the Scare Me and my overall opinion of Alton Towers? If you did, or even if you didn't, leave a comment down below. I aim to reply to every single comment.